Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Pop Topic on the FHN Network. I'm your host, Tyler Fines, and we've got lots to talk about. You got to follow at Pop Topic Show on Twitter, Instagram, and the FHN Network for all your entertainment needs, and follow all of our other shows, Smoke Show, Off the Puck Hockey. Whatever you guys want to check out, make sure you check out FHN Network. We are pleased to welcome to the show the singer who created Rattle the Glass, our theme song, for his album Chicka Boom, and is also featured again on CBC last night, Hockey Night in Canada. Unbelievable, very entertaining. This is Marty Zylstra. Marty, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, really good. What's going on out west? Tell the people where you're from.
I'm sitting in my car right now in Langley, BC, and we live on the west. Yeah, the Rivermen. I'm at the Langley Event Center actually.
There you go.
The home of the Vancouver Giants, and live out on the west coast. And yeah, it's a rainy, gloomy day here, but maybe better than snow for some. But I prefer the snow, to be honest.
Yeah, Has it been snowing much out west?
No, we had snow in November and a little bit in December, but that's it. Yeah,
and that's all right. So, what have you been doing, keeping tabs over these COVID times? What have you been up to?
Well, I just released a record on January 15th, and so that's been really exciting and pushing that out to the world. And I'm really excited that we got on Hockey Night in Canada last night. They played us twice, so that's really cool. And lots of cool stuff happening with the record, and lots of cool stuff happening getting on awesome shows like yours. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a bit about that process. How did CBC pick it up? How did they hear about it? Did you contact them? Did they contact you?
So when I released the record, like way back about a year ago, I contacted a local publicist, and they're called Publicity. And I'm still getting my day going here, so I'm barely able to talk. But anyway, we talked about like goals and where we thought the song could go. That song in particular, because it's a hockey rock song, obviously. And I said, well, let's pitch it to CBC's Hockey Night in Canada. As like that was like, it's my dream, kind of thing. And anyway, we sent it off, and the music supervisor loved the track, and he's like, yeah, we could definitely use this. So he sent it to the director, and they put it on, played it a couple times, going off to commercial, and it was friggin' awesome, man. Gave me chills.
Yeah, that's amazing. They used the guitar riff. I was kind of hoping they dropped some of the lyrics into it, because it is like I said, it's a fantastic song. We use it for our theme, and it looks like some other guys that run podcasts have also started using it, which is great, right? You want as much exposure as you can, and let's talk about the song "Rattle the Glass." Like, what inspired you? Obviously hockey, but what excited you to actually put paper to pen to write it?
So I'm dad, obviously, sitting here waiting for my daughter to finish gymnastics, and when she was young, I would go and do like a workout like P90X or Insanity in my living room, and the guy always had, and they're awesome, by the way, all of these programs, but if you watch them a lot, you're like, they're kind of saying the same thing over and over, and I was like, those are awesome cliches, I should put those into a song. And that's kind of how this idea started. But I had the idea of like when the Leafs score, way back in the old days, Phil the Thrill, he scores, and it's kind of like boom, boom, like rattle the glass, boom. I kind of like had that line in my head for a long time. And then, so that's how the song came together, just in a cliched sports lingo way. But then it's more refined now, and they're not cliches. It's more of a story. But the Colin Kaepernick thing really spoke to me a lot. Standing up for what you believe in. And I really like how all players everywhere around the world have rallied around that movement. And so, like the line, stand up for what I believe in, I really like the idea of using your platform to stand up for what you believe in. And I think everything that's gone on with the Black Lives Matter movement certainly inspired me to put the song out, and join the movement, or be an ally for that movement and all of these struggles that people go through all over the world. So obviously I try to learn and try to be an ally, and this song was kind of a starting point for some of those ideas in my, and emotions. So, it's, yeah, Rattle the Glass kicks some ass. It's cliche, but it's sometimes you have to say it, man. And when we recorded it, I wanted it to be like, I didn't want it to be this rock song because I was pitching it to other bands, and my producer JP, he's like, no, we gotta do this right. So the band got in studio, and it turned into a ripping rock song. The guitar solo was like 2 takes. It was awesome.
So yeah, it is for sure. Now, when you wrote the song, I wanted to talk about the album, Boom Chicka. What about that album made you write? You got a pretty good amount of tracks on there. So what song came first when you started the album? Was that the first song, or were all the other songs already created and ready to go?
That was a little bit of an older song, but
Okay.
the oldest song on the record is track 1, the music. I've been in bands since I was a teenager, and one of my first ever real bands in college, we were called Grace Nocturnal, and that was a song we played a lot live. And we had some, I call it like the Midas touch. We were in college, and we were partying, and we were touring, and everything that happened to us, it seemed like it was like the golden touch. Like, we recorded a song on a Monday, and then by Friday it was playing in heavy rotation on the local radio station, which was a big deal. And we opened for huge bands, like Sam Roberts was coming up at the time, Tegan and Sarah was coming up at the time. We got those gigs, and that was incredible. And this was a song we played, and fans loved it, but we never got a chance to record it because it imploded. The band, it broke up quickly. So I always wanted to record it, and I asked the guys that co-wrote it if they were cool with it, and they were like, yeah, dude, do whatever you want.
Oh, that's they were listening. They could have been a pain in the ass about it, but at least they were good about it.
No. I was the main songwriter on it, and so when I played it, because the process of recording when you're a solo artist is you don't have a band, and you don't go into rehearsal space and play gigs and then go to studio and record the songs. You're kind of bringing stuff in cold. And so we're sitting, this is like the last song I think we worked on. I brought it in. I said, well, I got this other song. What do you guys think? It's really old, but what do you think? And so I played the whole song for them, and they're all kind of like, I don't want to say their jaws were dropping or anything like that, but it felt like that moment where they're like, oh wow, this is really good. We need to do this song. It's really fun. So that was the kind of the oldest one. And the newest one was I believe it's Sweet California. I wrote that one it just came to me. Like, I play a little bit of piano, very bad, but I actually, we were joking on text, because my producer JP and my drummer friend, who's in a great band, Ben Sinister, that's a bit of a plug and a name drop, but Dickie Petro, we text all the time because we're all hockey fans, and so we're in like a group chat during Hockey Night in Canada, and we're talking about, oh, that's you, JP, on the piano. They played that for you, but then he said, no, I think you actually played the piano part on Rattle the Glass. So I thought that was hilarious. But Sweet California, I just was playing piano, and it came to me, and it's like just all out in one sort of, performance. I kind of wrote the entire song in about 10 minutes. So I really like that. That's kind of the newest song on the record, I think. Don't quote me.
No, that's absolutely. So now I was reading your Twitter, and you were charting somewhere. Talk about that. Talk about seeing your name on the charts.
Yeah, dude, it's incredible. Like, I think, you and I have talked about this. You're a dad. I'm a dad. And when you're a dad in a pandemic, you have the same competitive advantages. Like, I love the Arkells. I'm not throwing them under the bus. I'm just saying, I can't go on tour with a 1-year-old right now. Right. And so, but the Arkells can't go on tour either because there's no gigs. So I'm like competing the same way, I guess. So I've talked to a lot of college radio stations all over the country, and people, they're just not getting records because, bands aren't touring, and bands aren't releasing stuff, and American bands aren't touring, and you can't come up to Canada and stuff. And that's really sad for music fans in this country and everywhere. But the silver lining is that when my record comes across a desk, in this case, Windsor, Ontario, at CJAM, which is the local university radio station, and they're fantastic. they're like, oh, this record's cool, let's throw it on. And so yeah, I'm super excited that I'm charting in Windsor, and it sounds like I'm going to be spinning all over Ontario and other parts of the country, out on the East Coast. And yeah, it's awesome. London, Ontario is spinning the song too. So I have a feeling there'll be other charts. So that's cool.
Yeah, I hope so. And obviously, like I said, we want as many Canadian artists as we can, to become successful. So Rattle The Glass plays on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday, January 30th. You get to see it against the Toronto Edmonton game, and then it plays for the night game. Did you get any feedback on Twitter, or did anybody write you and say like, "Oh, I've never heard of you. I'm going to start listening to your stuff"?
Oh, dude, my phone was blowing up. Like, it was insane. My wife was like, "Why are you looking at your phone instead of the game?" So
yeah,
no, it was crazy.
I'm getting popular. That's why. I'm getting popular.
No, a lot of people, like a lot of old friends, are like saying congratulations and stuff, and that was really cool. And I grew up in Northern Ontario, and a friend works for a Sudbury Star up there for the sports column, and so he called me up and we did an interview. So they're going to do a piece in the Sudbury Star on the record and the song and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, people are messaging me, and I haven't looked at the numbers today because I can look at deep statistics on Spotify streams. And by the way, people listen all over the place, not just on Spotify, but it seemed like people were listening more than ever yesterday. And that's awesome. That's all you can ask for as an independent artist. So it's really been fun.
Well, I know from our group, Off the Puck Hockey and Pop Topic, we wish you the best success. Now, I want to talk about how you actually got hooked up with us. The funny thing is that, Adam Stiles is one of the co-hosts on Off the Puck, and Matt Huddle, the producer, were talking about the song, and I had nothing, no hand in it, zero hand in the song. So how did they connect? How did Adam connect with you, or Matt? How did it work?
Well, I think like as an independent artist, you're always looking for like grassroots, like guerrilla marketing techniques, and sometimes you just send a DM on Twitter and to a podcast. And I've sent quite a few, like obviously I really like the independent guy, because I did a podcast. Season 1 of my podcast was last year, and I'm going to do season 2 coming up here in a bit.
Sure.
But I really like the idea of the little guy doing podcasts and grassroots kind of marketing techniques. And I know I'm not going to get on, knock on wood. Yeah. Hopefully I get on some big podcasts. But I think I just sent him a DM and said, "Hey man, if you want to use my track, it'd be awesome. I love hockey, and obviously I'm a Leafs fan. I have a burner account." The funny thing about music is people were complaining on Twitter that I was talking about hockey too much on my regular music account. So I have a hockey account. But it's funny because like all my musician kind of hipster friends are on follow me on the music account, but on hockey, people are like, they're just regular dudes like you and I who love the Leafs, or whoever, like love the Habs, or whoever it is, not the Habs, hopefully. But so I just send these hockey people messages, and lots of them are like, "Yeah, I would love to use the track. It so totally works." And Adam saw it, heard it, liked it, and sent it to you, and here we are. It's a stroke of luck. I call it good luck.
Well, we're thankful for it, and a lot of people have asked us about it, right? So that's one of the reasons we wanted to have you on and actually talk about the song. But we know you're an avid Leafs fan, and I don't want to turn this into a hockey conversation. We will bring you on for a hockey chat on Off the Puck, but we are going to talk about the Leafs a little bit and where kind of that passion came from. Did you grow up a Leaf fan? Did it kind of, were your parents Leafs fans?
Well, so I grew up in Northern Ontario on Manitoulin Island, Little Current, and to be blunt, I was not a sports guy because I was very sick. Like as a kid, I had asthma, chronic asthma, as many people in that time did, who like me. There wasn't the treatment like you have now, like an inhaler that you could just use. Like Gary Roberts is such a inspiration for me. The guy is one of the most athletic dudes ever in hockey, and he had chronic asthma as well. So, but one thing I'll say about it is, like, I delivered the Sudbury Star in the winters to make some extra cash in grade 7 and 8 or something like that. And then the Leafs were so bad, and everybody always talked about that. And all my friends were playing hockey, and all my friends were playing like Sega Genesis. And I kind of wanted to fit in. To be honest, I was in grade 7 or 8, and I wanted to fit in with my friends. And I'm like, what's hockey about? So I started following the Leafs, and then the big Gilmore trade happened, and they went from like last place to almost sneaking into the playoffs that year, and that was '92. And I think I just got lucky because they all of a sudden turned the team around, and Gilmore was so exciting, and such a emotional player. Like, you just had to cheer for the Leafs at that time, and they were great. And then they had their kind of miracle sneak into the playoffs, beat the Wings with Nikolai Borshevsky in Game 7 from Gilmore, and I was hooked. Like, dude, I was like hooked. So that's why I'm a Leafs fan, and I had friends in the area who were Leafs fans too. And actually, my dad's a family friend would have me over. We'd watch Hockey Night in Canada together, and he kind of like taught me a little bit about how the game worked and stuff, and go to see friends' games, bantam and high school games, and it was freaking awesome. I just got into it. I really got into it.
Did you ever start playing at all? Like, did you play men's league or start skating at all? Or like,
I definitely skated. So to back up, I skated, but being out in the cold, it wasn't like with asthma. It wasn't an ideal situation for me. So I wasn't. By the time I started skating, at like legitimately being able to, as 8 or 9 or 10, it was a kind of too late. Even though nowadays it's like you could skate, go out there. There's so many leagues now, but back then in Northern Ontario, it was a small town, so it was either like you're good or you're not. So sorry, but yeah, we had a pond in our backyard and stuff, and like super cliche. Out here, they laugh at me. They're like, "Are you serious? You did that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we had a pond, and I skated on a ice pond in my backyard." So yeah, it wasn't very good, but I played around and never played like real hockey. But I've certainly thought about joining like a rookie men's league and stuff, because I can skate. I'm not very good, and that's fine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what? It's a great game, and as long as you continue to, just to skate and enjoy it and teach your kids how to play, maybe you can live vicariously through them. Because that's what I'm going to do.
Ideally, yeah. My eldest, she's in gymnastics and loves dance, but my youngest is she's a bit of a like, she's always moving and always running, and I have a feeling she's going to be in sports. Well, I have a feeling
good for her.
We're gonna have no choice.
I get it. So I want to go back to the album quickly. So outside of Rattle the Glass, you got some great tracks on here. But if you had to pick one song that you think, I want people to listen to this because I believe there's something to it. Is there a particular song in the album that you would direct people to?
Well, obviously, Rattle the Glass.
Yes.
Very clearly, that's a great song. Now, my wife would say People I Love is the one that's the best. And those two I love them, but Shine So Bright, I think, turned out really well. And it's, I wrote it, the lyrics are like, maybe a little, they're clear, maybe once you know what it's about. It's about my mom who passed away from cancer a few years ago, but the story is kind of her singing me a song. And so the lyrics are really meaningful to me, and it turned out well. It's not dark where people are like, I can't listen to that because I can't, I can't get to the same place as you emotionally and stuff like that. But it's got a nice meaning, and so that's the one that I love probably the most. But I like them all. Like, they're all like children.
Yeah,
you love them all for different reasons, and
that makes sense.
I think that People I Love is the one that to be honest, that's the one that I didn't like. I showed it to my producer initially in the initial planning stages, and he's like, "No, this is really, really good." And I said, "Are you sure?" Because I think it's kind of cheesy. I thought the lyrics were too cheesy because it's basically Beatles lyrics. So I tell a story using Beatles lyrics and
they're not
references.
Very good, though, so yeah, Beatles aren't very good.
They're not. Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah, you can use.
They're okay.
They'll be okay. Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea, but you know what? I'm glad your producer ended up telling you to do that, and I'm certainly going to check the song out. So I want to talk a little bit about when you started making music. Were you playing covers? Were you playing bars?
I was just like my buddies were all playing guitar. So again, harkening back to Northern Ontario, a little band. They were a trio from Seattle. Came out. I don't know if you know them. With a little band with a left-handed blonde, long-haired guitar player.
Yeah, my wife's from
released
Seattle. We know all about that gentleman.
yeah, released Nevermind. And when I heard Smells Like Teen Spirit, like I got that. I got it. Whatever the emotions are, they grabbed me deeply, and so I like learned about Nirvana, and then everybody else is into them too. And the great thing about Nirvana was that you could learn their songs really quickly because they're easy to play with simple chords. And so I wanted an electric guitar, and I started playing, and all my friends were playing and stuff. And I have a musical family, so I was already in piano lessons, and so I switched to guitar and spent 30 days in my bedroom learning, and then started a band. And of course, I
Crazy.
promised girls, that's how I convinced people to play in a band with me. But I just wanted to perform my own songs because right away I started writing. It was kind of weird, and my songs weren't very good, but it was like thinking back, I'm like, oh wow, I was a writer immediately. So that's something that I I think is my favorite part about music is writing songs. So yeah, not covers. I have played a lot of covers because as the years gone on, I started a cover band and to make extra cash on the weekends and did that, and then was kind of annoyed with top 40 and stuff. So you can only play Summer of '69 so many times before you blow your mind out,
Yeah.
which is fine. It's a
Is
great song.
Is that the number one requested cover song of all time? Summer '69.
It might be. I don't know, but
what about in your experience? Was that the one that you always got the most?
I don't know. I think probably Journey, Don't Stop Believing. We got that a lot.
Why not? Why not?
But I had a epiphany in Memphis with my wife in January of 2011 or 2012. We were down in Memphis watching this incredible band on Beale Street, and I was like, oh man, why am I in this crap cover band? I need to be doing music like this. Like the music was so good down there, by the way. That when I came home, I'm like, I got to do something I love and I want to do, and that was being in a Beatles band. So I started a Beatles tribute.
No, that's cool. That's cool. What was the name of the band?
We were called they are called the Day Trippers, and this pandemic has kind of moved me away. Like I don't mean this in a negative way. They're fantastic, but it's moved me away from that group, and I've gracefully retired to focus only on my original music, and it's sad because I had so many good times playing, and we did so many great things, and you make money so playing Beatles music.
If you're good, absolutely you do.
If you're good at it, and
yeah. But I remember my introduction really to Beatles music was I wasn't a Beatles fan coming up, Marty. And all of a sudden I'm working on the cruise ship, and a cover band, you may have heard of them, called Rain. Apparently, yeah. See, for you, that's like, but for me, I was like, I don't know. I'm like, Rain, these sound terrible. Anyways, the minute they started playing, and I've never seen this when I worked there for 6 months, the people were standing and they never sat down. And I wasn't a Beatles fan. And that was kind of my introduction to like how good these guys were, because obviously when you're on a cruise ship, the age of the people the demographic is different.
Yeah, and I experienced that all the time in that band. So, I mean, we played hundreds of gigs, and like there was one gig where it was all nurses, and it was like a convention for nurses.
Oh,
and they were just doing their wrap up party, and so it was a dry party, and we're like, okay, we're gonna get up, and who cares what happens? It's just a gig's a gig sort of thing. But we got up, and then they announced us, and then everybody, there's 500 people in the room, they all stood up and they all danced the whole set, and then when it ended, they went back, and then we came up for set 2, they got up again and danced the whole time. It was just incredible moments like that over and over and over.
Were you dressed up like them? Did you do so how Rain does it? I'm not sure if you've ever seen them live, but they
I know about Rain.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So they go through all the eras. Did you guys do something similar?
Well, when we started out, it was like, let's just have fun, and we don't have to dress up, and we don't need the gear. Let's just play their music, because that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I don't want people to see the like wig coming around my ear and stuff like that. And but the guys are really great, and as the band developed, we wanted to play different material because it became really fun, and so we ended up doing, like, we got the Pepper outfits, and we did a really great show, and it was maybe not Rain level, but we played theaters and we played all over BC, and man, I had a fantastic time, and I really hope they keep going. It's hard to say because So like so much has changed now for musicians through in BC, at least. I don't know about Toronto area or Ontario, but that a lot of bars are closing, a lot of venues are closing. Like I played this Italian supper club like 15 times, and they had to shut down. And
Oh no.
so that's a venue that bands really had a good time playing. And it's there's lots of stories like that right now, and I'm kind of bummed because I don't know if my friends are going to be able to get the same work level. And Vancouver's not known for being a music city, but there are really great little pockets of, venues and gigs and bands and I'm a huge fan of the working class musician. I think that, it's kind of like the fourth liner, called up from the AHL. I love those guys. Those are the guys you're cheering for, right?
Well, independent music is, as you know, has always been, a cliche for a lot of people. But I'll tell you something, in Toronto, though, that's where a lot of people got started. Those small Crocodile Rock and those little bars downtown, and then making their way down to the US and trying to make it big. So for myself, again, like you, I wish nothing but the best of success to these businesses that are trying to stay alive and give these independent musicians a voice. And same thing in where I'm from, Cambridge, we got a couple places like Rhythm and Brews, which is a beautiful place in Cambridge here. And it's got a beautiful stage. It's in a brewery, and they play like the Practically Hip, who are a fantastic cover band for Tragically Hip, and they host some great artists, and it'll be a great place for you to jam, I'll tell you that.
I hope I can come out there and play a gig when this is all over.
Yeah,
I've got some plans to come out there and play some shows. I would really love that.
Sure. Well, tell the people where they can find you, Marty. Tell them where they can get your song, where they can follow you.
Obviously, the internet. It's really easy.
Just Google the name and then
Google my name. No, if you Google my name and Boom Chicka, the name of the record, there's every digital outlet: Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube. It's all there, and I've got a website now. But go easy on me because it's me making that website. So
I've already don't even worry about that. I've made like 3 websites, and they're all like 1 out of 10 star level.
Yeah,
it's just a place to come click your name.
Yeah, I'm slowly building that, and I'm going to be doing a podcast season 2 coming up soon. So that's going to be exciting. And
what's the genre of the podcast?
It's just talking about. Well, I'm going to talk about my record, making of this record, and that's what I did on the first season. Kind of just talking about how I got to being a solo artist, and that's available on online as well. And so, yeah, look for that and look for other stuff that's happening. I'll probably be doing a live stream, hopefully soon. Depends on maybe you've heard the name Dr. Bonnie Henry. She's our health minister, and so we're kind of waiting for numbers to really drop so we can have some stuff open up again.
And what about your Twitter? Where can they find you on Twitter? What's those 2 Twitter accounts? You got the burner and then you got the music.
Well, it's obviously my name, Marty Zylstra. That's my music account, but my hockey burner account, if you want to find me, is TML fan in van. So TML, obviously Toronto Maple Leafs.
Love it. Oh, that's so funny. Well, look, I'd like to thank you, Marty Zylstra, for joining Pop Topic on the FHN network. You can follow Marty Zylstra on Instagram. Subscribe to his YouTube page, everybody. You can find the single Rattle the Glass on Spotify, iTunes. Make sure you go and pay for it and support your local independent artists. All right. Thanks again for coming on, Marty.
Thanks, Tyler.
That's awesome. Thanks again to my producer, Matt Huddle, taking care of me behind the scenes. I'm your host, Tyler Fines. Tune in each and every week for new episodes, guests, conversation. Follow at Pop Topic Show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those fun things. This is Pop Topic, and we will be back.